There we are. I took a moment to engage. Hey folks, how's it going? It's Wednesday, we're doing some game dev. Let's get the music on the background as well. It needs to be a little bit louder. I can hear it okay in my ear, but it's probably a bit too quiet on the stream. How's that? I think that's okay. I think we have the same shirt. Awesome. Yeah, I like this shirt. I bought this shirt about 2, maybe even 3 years ago. Because I needed like a nice light shirt to kind of sit in a pool, so I can just kind of put this on and just kind of lounge in the pool. And it doesn't matter if it gets wet; it's so thin it dries in the sun very quickly. So I thought, yeah, let's go for this. So I've not worn it for a while, so trying to wear a few shirts. But it's good to see you. So finally got around to sending you that file. So I'm happy I got that sorted. But yeah, Monday was not a good day. I was okay during the day, but as soon as it got to about 4:30, 5 o'clock when I finished work, my head was really not good. And it got worse by 6, and then I thought, well, I'm due to be streaming in an hour and a half. And getting home at 6:30. I just literally lay down in a dark room and rested for the evening. So I do apologise, there was no stream, but we're here today. We're doing some game dev. Let's switch over to the main screen and see what we're up to. Now off stream I've rounded the corners on this UI, so it's now got rounded corners. So that looks a bit nicer. I'm going to move these zeros into there, but I need to make a thing for that. So let's go to the canvas. So what's it under? Is it Play UI? Yeah, Play UI. Top left stats. So that's got score there, and it's got time holder, which is that. So we need to make a score. Have we got the score holder there? We've got time holder. Is that the same as that? No, it's a different thing. Level timer. Time display. That's a timer holder. That's a time holder. So what I was doing last stream was kind of slowly dismantling score holder. So it didn't actually have as many jobs to do, and having things independent. So the fact the smoke, the castle, that definitely needs to be its attached. If it's level end UI, it can manage itself now, can't it? Time holder, play again button. Game values in there. So I probably need to drop the game values into level end script and get that to determine whether it's been switched on or off. I think I've actually got that in the code. Let's bring the code up. So I'm pretty confident the game controls and the power sliders handled. So we can take those off there. So as far as the let's turn that down a little bit. As far as so we want to show the level complete, the time, and the play again button. So that really just needs the game values in there, so it can determine when it's ready to be shown. So your fixed update. Okay, yeah. So shows true. So the update is going to have to keep checking whether it is 1. But the suppose I can have that as part of the script, so it just checks, because the values are going to be in there. I don't need to be pulling both values through. So let's put that down there. So I just want to know whether the game is 1 or not. I think I did I? Let's wait for it to finish compiling. Absolutely nothing. Game controls, parameter, play UI. So play UI, let's look at play UI script. Okay, so I'm working out here. In theory, I can just have a function that does this. Actually, in the game values, I don't need to pull through 2 lots of values. So let's open up game values. Oh god, I can do it from here, can't I? G game values. So let's get time, set minutes, set timer. Let's have a level complete. We could probably just do this entire thing actually in here. Rather than just having GV, we're just checking those values. So if those 2 are there, let's go public with that, because we want to be able to pull that out. Save. Go to play UI. So rather than actually having it here, we can then delete that and go gv dot level complete. So we're minimizing the amount of code we need to write, because there's going to be many points that we need to check if the level's complete. So we might as well have one thing that does it for us. So that function now checks for us. So we can actually bring in game values into here. So public game values is GV. Now we want it to, because this is kind of waiting for something to show the UI and then it starts the countdown. But I want this to check whether the level is complete, and then in which case show the UI and then start the countdown. So this only really needs to be called once. What we do then is we go gv.level complete. So if level's complete, then we want to show the level complete. So if we're doing that, we're starting the counter. But then I suppose, because I don't want it to have to be constantly showing this. Because I'd rather not have to run code more times than I need to. So how do I stop running this multiple times is so maybe we do it as so if level is complete, then we go shows true. But then you go show false. Okay, so level complete shows true. And if we do this, if not show, no, so if it's true, so I want you to say that it is showing the UI, so we'll delete that then. And then we'll go, we'll actually call show UI. So if that was complete, we'll then call show UI. Show is false. So if show is false, we're saying it's not currently showing. So we say, actually, yes, it is now showing, and show it. Excuse me. It's now showing. So it becomes true, so it won't actually show it again. Now equally, if that is level complete false, we want an else. And if level complete is not true, then we need to be hiding level complete stuff. But then equally, put an if in here, if show we want to then go show equals false to say we're now not showing the UI. So you'll go, am I showing it? No, okay, carry on. If I'm showing it, yes, stop showing it. That means we're not constantly changing these values. It's just checking that value, goes, no, don't need to worry about anything, it's not currently doing anything else. So that means we don't need that in there. So if countdown is less than 0, then counter equals countdown. Counter equals countdown. And say again. So this is where I need to make sure that this isn't looping where it doesn't need to. So level's complete, shows the UI, keeps taking 1 away from the number. If it drops below 0, reset it, show the button. But the level is still complete. And it starts to count down again. In which case then shows the button. Maybe this. Needs to go in here anyway, so if level complete is false, we then reset the counter and put an if in here. So if if counter is not less than 0, take 1 away. And if counter is less than 0, now can I make this a single? So if counter is less than 0, do this. If not, take away, I suppose. So we can make an else and put that inside there. And sometimes you need to write it the long way to see the short way. If you write it out long, you go, actually I can combine these things together and make this shorter. So what we're doing here is we're checking, is the counter less than 0? If it is, show the button. But if it's not less than 0, we need to keep taking 1 away from it until eventually it becomes less than 0. And then when it gets less than 0, we stop taking 1 away from it. We don't need to keep taking 1 away because it's already reached that. And when we hit the button to reset everything, level complete becomes false, which means we hide the UI and we reset the counter back to the countdown, which is 500. That makes sense. So at no point are we changing values that we don't need to change. Because if that is false, it's got to keep running hide UI, but hide UI go, well, show is false, and then it'll just skip over everything here. And if level complete is true, it'll keep running show UI. But if show UI is already true, it will skip over it. If it's false, it'll set it to true, show the UI, and then continue to skip over each loop. So that should keep it fairly optimized. We have to make sure we drop in the game value into there. And references. So score doesn't need to do anything with that anymore. So all hit. So this is updating the score. So that's fine. So that's actually putting the numbers into that. And this is checking the all hit. But that is squares hit, squares count, which actually is level complete. So all hit is basically just, we can just go gv.level complete instead now, because we've got a function for that. It also does mean that all hit could be taken out and just replaced with the function. So we don't need that, because that happens within the individual things. Because all hit is the same as level complete, when level complete is true, it's going to run that anyway, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. So score UI set active false is what we need to transfer over, so that will be removed. So to remove timer, we do need to stop the timer, that's fine. And the same with hide UI, we don't actually need to constantly hide in UI anymore, because that is self-managed. So it's slowly dismantling this unnecessarily big so stopping the timer is definitely needs to happen. That needs to be removed once we move it into its own thing. That's fine. Get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. So in theory this should only really be looking after the castle collapsing and the castle smoke. But even then that could be self-managed if we then attach the game values to that as well. Because this castle fall all hit is basically seeing, does that equal true? If that equals true, then we want that to run, and we want that to run. We also want the timer to stop, but then the timer itself could have it be self-managed, that the timer stops automatically when the values. So we can have that one driver being the game values, and we don't need to have this controller doing it all. But we do one thing at a time. So we don't actually have level end. So where's level end? So we define level end there. We have level end there. We're redefining level end there. But level end does not get used. So we can actually pull that out now. So level end is become self-sufficient. So we don't need to worry about that. We don't need to set level end here. If we don't set it there, we don't need that value. And level end UI is not used. So if you're not sure, rather than trying to search, you can do Control F. So Control F comes up with this search box in the top, and you can just type stuff in and find it. But a quick way is if you double click on the word or function, so it highlights that. If you scroll through your code, it will show you everywhere else that is used. Like if I double click on Castle Smoke, I can see Castle Smoke, Castle Smoke, Castle Smoke, Castle Smoke. Scroll down a bit more, Castle Smoke. So it automatically highlights everywhere in your code where that is used. Like game object, double click on game object, it shows me everywhere I've used game objects. So it becomes quite useful to just double click on the name, and you can see things very quickly. So the level end UI isn't used, so I can actually remove that completely. Now the next thing I want to remove is the score UI. Let's make that independent. So this is me tidying up the code. This is me removing the spaghetti. So I don't have to, but it's going to make my life far easier because I can then go back and add things without going, but that's connected to this, so I can't do that without changing this. But I can go, actually no, I can just add this in and attach it, done. And when I say attach it, I'm meaning like the game values. All I have to do is attach the game values, and based on these numbers, it will do everything. So, yeah, he's got one reference now. That's another thing that's quite helpful, is it says how many times that show UI is used. So saying one reference, I click on one reference, it says you're using show UI on row 27 of level end. You go, oh yeah, of course I am, it's there. So they're only being used once, they're only being used inside here. And in actual fact, I could make these private. And because they're private, they can't be used by anything else now. So this entire thing is closed in, nothing else can use it. It's all just working within itself, which means I can save that and close it because I don't need to worry about it. It's everything inside it is only dealing with its own stuff. So let's hit save, quickly test the game, make sure I've not broken anything. I know. That's the instant thing that I've broken because I didn't drag the game values into it. Level end scripts. Game values need to go into there. So that level end becomes self-sufficient. Let's resave that. Start again. Turn the sound off. Yeah, that's looking quite nice there. Might need to refine it a little bit. Look at the console. So timer started, did you have the migraine yesterday as well? Yesterday I did not. So Monday I had it was like right across the front here and a little bit above. And so yeah, that was on Monday. Yesterday was okay. Today, while I was still at work, I had stabbing pains across the right hand side on my head. So yeah, yesterday was fine. So I don't know what the difference is. Maybe I got a better rest. Maybe because I rested more on the Monday, Tuesday was okay. Maybe I didn't rest as much yesterday, so today was a bit worse. I don't know. Timer starts. The fact this is running twice. Reset score. So timer started. Timer start. Oh, when the score resets, it runs it as well. Okay, so I want to make it a bit more efficient, so I will work that out. Let's quickly play through this and I just noticed level completes up there. How long has that been up there? That's not right. Well, I'll make sure everything else works and then I'll work out where my logic's gone wrong with showing that. What I might have to do with that timer is make it a little bit bigger. Don't know where the where's the last two? Ah, there we go. Cheat a little bit by zooming in. Be a little bit easier when it's full screen, but using its tiny little window. Oh, there it is. So it hides that, that's fine. That comes up as fine. Timer stops, that's fine. Play again, hides that. Okay, so it's just the initial settings. So timer started, B1. Timer started. Okay. So timer start. So level timer start timer score reset score reset. So we're starting timer there. Yeah, 2 references. Okay. So where does it need to happen? So we've got level timer. So that's when it starts. So maybe I don't need it here. I could actually just hide it from there. And it is... It's in score, isn't it? Is it in score? No. It is in fact the level end that I closed so confidently. So show is false. So show needs to start as true actually. I've had to flip the logic. So showing starts as true? No. No, it needs to be as false. Showing is true is false. Hide false. I say it's true, to say it's true, and then because it's true, and that's it, or false, yeah. It's a little bit backwards, but that was work. Save that. Run that, see if it's doing its thing, and then we'll move on to the next little bit. Yeah, timer started only happens once. Timer started, and that UI is not there. Brilliant. Okay. Happy with that. So play UI. Play UI. So that's right for the hiding or showing that appropriately. That's fine. So I don't think I need to do anything else with play UI. Close that. Well, not with play UI directly, but the top left. This needs to have another thing in it. I'm quite happy. Actually, I can hide. I don't need to hide it, do I? Well, I'm hiding the whole of level end UI. I'm quite happy for that to hide when it starts up, so that's fine. But I'm happy with the level end stuff. For now, I will need to change level complete to be an actual graphic. There's one or two things I need to do that. So this score, so this score here. I need to make a, let's call it a hits holder. Let's go create empty hits holder. So we already got a score holder. Hi Sally Motes. Hey Lisa, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you've been having a good week. All those awesome emotes, look at those. So hits holder needs to have a few, doesn't it? I also need to make another graphic, which is the slash. It's okay. How's yours? Could be a little bit better. As I discussed with Jeffrey, I think I've had 2 migraines this week. Only mild ones compared to what they can be. But I don't normally get migraines. So it's like, this is quite odd. And Nix is still not well. In fact, probably less well in other ways. So we're just getting by at the moment. I'm still without one of the cars. So there's a few things I would like to sort of see the back of. Go, don't need to worry about that anymore. It's all sorted. But other than that, I am good. I'm in fairly high spirit compared to what I could be. So we've got to see the positives. So we've got hits holder, time holder. Let's move this to the appropriate location. Just about there. All those awesome rainbow frogs. Trying to see if the frog still works when I'm not wearing glasses. It does. Awesome. Yay for rainbow frog. Now I could probably do copying. Nice. I still don't understand how this is better than their own animation. I think this one is way more flashy. Yeah, Twitch is weird. So 1, 2, 3. Need to have at least a make that as a T6. I probably need to work out actual spacing between these. Do a proper calculated space, because at the moment I've just done it by eye. Let's do a 7 as well. Copy, paste as a child. Rename that as 7. So this is going to make life a bit easier. Because I have over 100. I'm not going to have over 1,000. I can't think of any reason why I'd have over 1,000 squares, because that just seems like a big slog for a level. So we won't be doing that. So, but we got the maximum of 999 spaces. Do that, go back to that, set that as a 0. And need to make a slash rather than just a colon there. So let's go to Photoshop and open game numbers. Let's duplicate the colon. Call this slash. Need to reduce the font size considerably. Cool, I like it. Save and then export. Slash. Let's bring the slash in. Game number slash. Turn that into a sprite. And that one, which is currently a colon, let's make into a slash. Scale 0.6. 0.6 puts it on the same scale as the time. But I could probably do this being a bit bigger. So this is going to have to be smaller still. Scale the whole thing. Reposition all this. Something along those lines. So time holder has its own time display, so it'll be hits display script, I suppose. Scripts. Let's create C#. Hits. Or hits display. Where is it? Hits display. That is a time display. Hits display can go into hits holder. Time display. I'll bring a lot of this over. Let's bring Unity UI controls. Now we have a few more T's to work with, haven't we? How many more T's? 7. We've got 7 T's. So there's a couple more T's. Six and 7. I need 2 more I's. 6 and 7. Number sprites actually needs to have an extra bit in there for the slash as well. So let's do that before we continue. Number sprites. So colon public sprite slash. We don't actually need the other bits in it. Cool, that's in there. So we need to grab the things as the defaults. So drop this in the start. So we're grabbing the images from the actual components. So 6 and 7, 6 and 7. Same again here, copy 6, 7, 6, 7. Let's go num0, num0. Oh, very clever in its predictions. So 4 actually be a slash. So it becomes 0, 0, 0 slash 0, 0, 0. Save that. So we need the last function here first, which is set sprite. Actually, because we can set as a colon now, as a slash, we might as well add it to here. Oh, hello. Yeah, it's kind of have to work this way, unfortunately. I was thinking if I could break this out into the number sprites script, but I would have to pass back the sprite. Yeah, actually go, okay, set sprite, it would be that I1 equals set sprite S1. So it could be done. Could do that. Let's open number sprites. Especially as this function's been called more than once. Let's copy that. Is that public? I suppose like rather than set sprite, it could be get sprite, I suppose. Get sprite, rather than a void, it could return a sprite. And we can make for a new sprite I. And just go I equals colon. Ah, predictive. Nice. Let's do a new case. Case slash I equals slash break. And then go return I. I suppose if it doesn't return anything, it needs to return 0 as a default. We'll keep it happy. So no matter what, you'll get a 0. This Saturday time for game art, by the way. This Saturday might be a bit awkward because I'm going to be in and out the house, so it might be a bit restrictive for time, unfortunately. Things keep changing. I'll check with Nix what the timings are and whether we have time to fit in anything. Depends if yeah. I'll check with Nix what timings are. We're gonna have time, but as is, I'm not sure. Forgot about plans we had for the evening, and that the afternoon should be free, but I don't know. Just yeah, I'll let you know. Other days are fine for me as well. Yeah, I'll let you know. Sort of. I've been fortunate for the past few weekends, but events are catching up now. So oh yeah, I forgot I said I'll do that. But as Nix is not feeling well, I've got a few things I need to help out with that. Otherwise, I'll let Nix rest, but they definitely need help with things while they're resting. Get Sprite. So we change this to S1 and go I1 equals I1 dot sprite equals, that's it. Yeah, so that works in this sense now. I2 the sprite equals ns dot get sprite s2 I3 dot sprite. It's not being predictive on this though. Dot get S3 I4. Yeah, I was hoping it would start being predictive by now, but it's not. It's okay. Get sprite S4 and I5 dot sprite equals ns dot get sprite.
Sure will remember your contribution to this.
Hey Cubes, how's it going? Thank you for the raid. How's it going, everyone? Welcome in. Hope you had a good stream. It's good to see you again. Hey, how are you going? 5. Let's finish that line now. Thank you very much for the raid again. Stream was good. Glad to hear. What you're playing? Bit more 7 Days to Die? Let's remove that old code there. Don't need that now. Today's Rimworld. Oh, I've heard Rimworld's quite good. Don't need that whole function now. Look how clean that looks now. Yeah, I thought about looking into Rimworld. It's one of those games I feel that it's you can't just have a quick game of. You kind of really get sucked into it. And I enjoy those kind of games, but I just don't have time for those kind of games. So there's that. I want to play it, but I'm going to have to put a lot of time aside. I love the game. It's micromanaging to the extreme, but it's really fun. Nice. Now, it's what was the game? Factorio. It's probably the closest thing I played more recently. Where it's kind of like going, okay, you need to have these things running and those things running, and sort of get materials from that, and you sort of build this on, and you keep adding things, and tech trees keep expanding. Yeah, to finish the game, you need a couple of hours. Ooh. Yeah, as you know, so I stream for no more than about 2.5 hours. And that is literally the time I get to play these days. If I'm not streaming, I'm very rarely playing the game. Factorio, how do you like it? I like it a lot. I love that kind of stuff where I like resource gathering games. I like games with tech trees. I like developing stuff. I like managing all that. And Factorio does have the base defense sort of element to it. I know you can go into the more kind of creative modes if you want to. But because you've got base defense, you not only resource management and building your tech tree, but you also go, well, when it gets dark, everything you've built can be destroyed by bugs. So you're having to think, well, what do I do to balance my materials for building more machines versus what I need to build more defenses, and you have to power that. And it scales quite nicely because you get attacked by more bugs the more you progress. And the basic plot narrative to this, that because you're building industry on an alien planet, you're creating pollution. And this pollution is what attracts the bugs, the alien bugs, to start attacking your industry, what you've been building up. Because it goes, well, you're creating pollution, get rid of the pollution, it comes and attacks you. So you're kind of the bad guy in some ways, but you're only trying to survive. You crash landed on this planet, so you're trying to survive. So it's kind of, it's interesting kind of balance on it. Choosing to unlock defenses in the tech tree versus crafting better new stuff. Yeah. So you really have to think your way through it. So there's a lot of strategy involved. And then, yeah, so do you go, well, do you build conveyor belts or do you build a train system? And you go, well, the train can go further. And you just load it up with coal, but then you can have conveyor belts loading the train with coal, which will then automatically deliver stuff to another site on the planet, which will then offload the coal or other goods. And yeah, you're getting into all this kind of stuff with you're expanding across the planet, but then you have to add weapons and defenses to make sure all of that doesn't get destroyed. Love trains, but making them work is a pain. Yeah, I absolutely love trains. I didn't play it, but I've recently purchased a VR game. I think it's just called Toy Trains, and the game is just you looking at a table with wooden trains and wooden track. They're just popping down bits of wooden track that clicks into each other, and you have small quests like you need to connect this little wooden house with this wooden like hall, like the town hall, and you just pop this little wooden train on and it goes, little puffs of smoke coming out, it just goes off. It looks really cute, and it takes you back to just playing with trains as a child. But I can imagine trying to make those kind of things in games becomes quite interesting. Sounds super fun. Yeah, I looked at it. Like my partner was playing it while I watched the screen output of the VR, and yeah, it looks really fun. But I love anything with trains. And I would like to try and develop something with a train in it. I know you can get train controller scripts pre-made for you, which I think I might have one somewhere, a basic one, or I might have just saw one, but you can purchase. I think I probably saw one for purchase and went, yeah, maybe I can make my own for that price. But maybe I go, actually, I'd rather just pay someone. But yeah, I love trains in games. Like Factorio has a whole track and train system. There's another train-based resource gathering game called Rail Grade. Rail Grade? I think it's Rail Grade. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, Rail Grade. And again, you're on alien planets. And it's more you're working for a big corporation who've tasked you to go out and gather resources from alien planets. Basically, you're mining. So you have to like build train systems which transport the mined goods from like the refinery, like from the mining part to the refinery, gather enough and then ship it back to Earth. What kind of train game though? You could go for super realistic, first person like Railroads Online or Automatic Factorio, or completely different like Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. Oh yes, that could be cool. I see, yeah. So it's kind of like there's different ideas of how you approach it. And it's fairly futuristic, but you're still running steam trains on Mars, effectively. But yeah, if you're into like train and resource management, then sort of Railgrade, definitely have a look at it. And it's got a first person, cause it's looking down, but you can click on the train and actually see it from, like you can ride the train. You just click on it, and you just see it from the perspective of the train, and it kind of like goes up and down, like a monorail kind of thing. So you can just leave it mining resources and dropping it off, and you just leave yourself sat on this train as it goes around, which is quite fun. And you can also have tracks overlapping. You can have switch tracks, and you can actually. It's got an intelligent track routing. So if you make a track and you place a train, it will automatically assume the rail track, but then you can adjust it to actually, no, I want to take the diversion off this track down this route, and I want it to always go this way, whereas I want this train to be on the same track but actually take this route off, and you can get them to actually pass each other based on timings and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's far less stressful than Factorio because you don't have to defend yourself against alien bugs. It's just about resource mining. See, added to wish list. Awesome. No, it was a good fun game. I played it on stream some time ago, so there's probably a YouTube video way down in my history. But yeah, I love those kind of games. But yeah, Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. I might have to look at how that mechanic works. But I got an idea in my head for part of my big game, as I call it. Potentially having a Victorian steampunk inspired area, which will have to include a train. It has to include a train. It's steampunk, steam and steampunk. So I will just have to put a steam-based locomotive in there. Maybe the player helps with setting down some of the track or getting the engine working. So it'd be too easy just to come along and go, oh, there's a train, just walk on it. But that'll be fun. That'll be just a nice little dip into the train thing without having a whole train game. But yeah, I've got that in my head. I've got quite a lot of plans for my big project that will basically allow me to have a go at different things without committing to too much of one thing or the other. But at the same time, I'm aware I don't want to spread myself too thin and have too many things going on. But my design is quite modular. That this is one thing, that's another thing, and the player would basically at biomes. The player will travel between different areas, which will have a slightly unique mechanic that only applies to that particular area. Yeah, so it'd be a good kind of opportunity to try a few things without investing too much in one thing or another, but still having a good idea of what the core mechanic is. Because I know some games can be too fractured. Go, well, what is the game loop? What is the mechanic that carries this game? It's just a series of mini games, and I want to avoid doing that because they can be fun. But it's like, well, I just want to play one thing over and over and sort of get better at that one thing and maybe have incremental improvements as I go. And there's some games where it's, you go, oh, well, I like this part of the game, but this is only for this level. And I just want to keep playing this level. The rest of it's not as interesting. So yeah, it's finding the sweet spot. And I've been a gamer for as long as I can remember. Probably since the age of 9. Since the age of 9 I've been a gamer. So looking best part of 30 years. If not longer. So I've got a rough idea of what I enjoy. It's just making sure I cover that off. Alright, we made ourselves a new function here. But this game's nearly finished now. I'm just, what I've started doing is rebuilding parts of this to make it a bit more more efficient, more streamlined. And going, actually, I did that so messy that really does need to be redone. So if I drop this down there, because I need pretty much the same idea, but I need a couple more. This particular thing has a couple more strings to deal with. So string 6, string 7. Probably could have copied the entire line, but there we go. Substring 5 and 6. So it's basically just breaking up this value. So this could be hits, I suppose. Just to keep the name relevant. And copy these in 2 more lines. Hey, gotta go have dinner. I'll be back in a few. Okay, I can't speak today, Cubes. Thank you for the raid. Hope you enjoy your dinner. Hope it's nice and filling and tasty and satisfying in the ways it needs to be. And I might see you later. And if I don't, hope you have a good evening and see you next time. So that's 5 and that's 6. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. We have the last thing, which is a fixed update. So let's get time. So this is where we need to do something a bit more special. See you, Cubes. So game values. So we've got get time text. We need to get hit text now. Let's drop this in here. Go to all the emotes. Public string get hits text. Should be a bit easier. So let's go string hits text. Let's default it to. We don't need to default it really. Kind of advises not to default it. Return hits text. A weird indent on that. Okay, so we will need a 0. So string and go hits text. Let's do that for the moment. Hits is going to be squares hit. Yeah, squares hit. Plus slash plus square count. So on the basic, that's what we're after, but I want to make sure this both of these are represented by a 3-digit number. And there may or may not be, depending on the level. And certainly squares hit will start off as 3 zeros. So I need to look at this and go, if it is less than 100, so less than 100, then so I need 2 zeros, isn't it? So 0 H equals 0 0. Can I do length on it? There's 2 ways you can do this. Now what I've done before in the past is I've checked the length of a number, which you can't really do because you can only check the lengths of strings. So you have to convert the number to a string, which is a series of characters, text characters. Then measure how many characters are in that string. So numbers 0 to 9 is only 1 character, but 10 to 99 is 2 characters, and of course 100 plus is 3 characters. So I could convert it to a string, check how many characters, and then do something with that. So I'll be doing a substring. Or I could do it by checking the number and adding. But squares hit would be 0. If it's less than 100, okay, so it's less, need to do this in the right logic. If it's less than 10, it's less than 10, it can choose that. Else, if, no, let's try, let's try doing it the way I'm thinking. Let's try this way, and I can always convert the one above then as well. So we need 2 new strings here. String hit, string count. Hey Crimson Demon, how's it going? Hi. Do you come on in with Cube's Raid? Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Let's remove that for the moment. So will it let me just to string it? Maybe we can do it this way. This might actually be a far easier way of doing it. Not to string. Now I was just browsing development tag on Twitch and came across this magnificent beard. Oh, thank you for shopping in, Crimson. Is this music from Final Fantasy? It is. I did find a Final Fantasy lo-fi radio on YouTube. So I thought I'd play that. Good spot there. You found me for the beard as well. This beard is an entity unto itself. It's enough to throw him over my shoulder. But I'm glad the beard pulls in the views. Yeah, I need to browse more stuff on the dev tag myself. Like I do dev day to day for my day job, but nowhere near as fun as this. So I thought, you know what, let's put my dev skills into something fun like making a game. When we met up IRL, I constantly had to resist the urge to pull it. I don't know what it is. It's just beards. People just want to. I have so many people come up to me and go, "Can I touch your beard?" I'm like, weird, but sure, go ahead. Which is better to ask me. I have had people just come up to me drunk and go, "Ah, beard." Get off. It's hard to resist those beard urges, yeah. But I'm more than happy to indulge. But yeah, like anything, you just don't go grabbing people's sort of parts of people. Doesn't matter if you're a president of the United States or not. But it's nice always to ask. Hit. No, I need to. I've got a lot of things I can do to look after the beard. I just don't do it as often. So I'm surprised it's in such good health. But I do need to give it a good soaking and get some nutrients back into it. I've been given all these nice beard products as well, like oils and scents and stuff. So I think I might do that after the stream. Just kind of soak it in some some nice kind of oils. But only this year I've started to regrow the sides, because I had these a little while ago and I thought I'll shave them off when it got too warm. But as it's been quite cold and windy here in the UK, I've decided, you know what, I need a bit of resistance towards the weather. So I've grown the sides out as well. I don't need that plus. Well, actually, if I go 0, 0, 0, the same here, plus 0, 0, 0, and plus. Now, if I go actually take step back. Something's gone wrong here. The AI suggestion didn't work. I do like the AI in Visual Studio, especially the more recent versions, because it is quite helpful. Let's put it in here. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So no matter what, there's going to be a string of 3 zeros at the beginning of the values. Now, because of this, I'm able to take the last 3 digits, the last 3 characters of the value, and if it's only the number 1, it's going to ignore the first 0, but then put 2 zeros and a 1. So I'm always going to take the last 3 numbers. So I'm guaranteed to always have 3 numbers. I think it's just dot substring, isn't it? Dot substring. Starting index. Length. So this is probably where I need to know what the length is. So hit dot length minus, oops, a minus, minus 3. Not length, is it? Because that's only for lists and whatnot. Is it just len? I'm sure it will be just length. Oh, it's without the brackets. So hit length, but minus 3 from the length. We'll be getting my starting position. So if it's 5 characters long, minus 3 means it's 2. So there's 3 left. And for 3 characters. Dog walk time, okie dokie. Be right back, Aussie time. Go sort those animals out. And I'll see you shortly. It rains. Oh no, it's been raining here. It's been hailing here as well. Can you add those 00s into string? Will it actually appear? Oh. What does that do? Does that actually append or prepends the string with those? Pretty sure it makes it go, oh, okay. I didn't know you could put something in those brackets. I didn't know that was a thing. Do I have a context? Oh yeah, let's have a look. String format. Oh yeah, it's a format. Ah. Thank you, Crimson Demon. This makes all the difference. I did not know I could throw a format in there. This is a game changer. Okay. If that's the case, I'll just do that. That makes life so much easier. I could just throw in the squares hit to string plus slash. But sometimes it's nice just to see it broken out so I can see what's going on. Awesome. Okay. So get hits text. Pause that, pause that. I could probably do something similar here, to be honest. Actually put this into string. Because this one wasn't so bad. I kind of just did some calculations, but I could probably remove a lot of that if I change all this as well. I'll come back to that though. I want to see this working, and then so get hit text, hit display, time display. Oh yeah. So set time. Change set time to set hits. Make it more. Makes it make more sense. Set hits. And inside that we'll go gv dot get hits text. So that's going to pull that from there. Then it'll translate whatever that text value is into sprites. And that should then display it. I can be able to pull that out as well then. That's just writing straight to a UI element. I won't need that anymore. Right, we'll save that, test that. Yeah. And if these numbers are doing what they should be, then I'll get rid of that UI element and the code associated. Right, that is not doing it because I've not dragged in the. I don't think I'm missing an object. Missing an object. Ah, of course. I keep doing that. Scripts. I need to put the game values in. So game values. Need to put the number sprites in number sprites. Because I spent so long on the code, I didn't actually set up the front end elements. Happens to the best of us. Oh, that's good to know. Alright, so that's now got all the sprite holders. It's got the sprite object and it's got the value object. So that's all in there now. So resave that. Try again. Nice, 120 has been put into that. 7 and 7. This is looking promising, Crimson Demon. Still some tweaking as far as the UI goes, but I want to make sure it functionally does what it's supposed to be doing. A bit too high. So we need to get at least 100 to see the UI element is working as expected. A little less power. It's a lot more readable. I probably need to make these buttons bigger over here as well. But as long as you can read those numbers and go, okay, I'm 84 out of 120. Right, it's reached 100. Nice. So I'm going to use that in my day-to-day now for any numbers of text translations. But I don't think I very rarely come across a point where I need to prefix a number with a 0. It's not a regular occurrence. Let's cheat a little, see where. We've got one over there. One more somewhere. Probably about there. Ah, is it there? A little bit higher. There we go. So I just need to do some nicer UI at the top here. But functionally that works. That's literally just a text label, and that's a duplicate of the time element. But cool, I am happy with that. That resets, that goes back to there. Right. Let's get rid of this hits now. So that's not needed, that's redundant. So that is score. Now I want to make sure I remove the code first. Although, yeah, there's two ways about it. If I remove the code first, then I'm not going to get any errors. But if I remove it and I get errors, at least I know what I've missed. We'll do a bit of both. So score is score UI. So let's remove that from the code. Let's go to score. So score UI. I don't want to do anything with that anymore. Which then tells me that isn't needed. Text score isn't needed. So that's only got the timer, the castle and the smoke. Timer, castle and smoke. Don't need to work with that anymore. That is literally just grabbing how many squares I've hit, how many squares have been generated, updates the all hit variable, which I reckon I can probably get superseded by that. That I can now actually remove. Reset score happens by itself. That I can remove. Okay, so let's have a quick look at all hit. So I'm setting all hit on update score. All hit is used here. That's an internal one. Where else is all hit? So all hit's defined there. I'm recording it here. Update score happens every time it loops around, and we've not won yet. But then win condition is basically when that is true. So that win could be replaced with level complete. So if level's not complete, update score. So win. So all hit. Everything's been hit, but we haven't won yet. Say we've won. But we have won. We want to check if we're able to make the castle fall. So this logic I need to make sure I don't break if I do change anything. Now the sensible thing will be to not change any of this code now, because it works, it's not causing issues, it's self-contained. There's part of me that goes, can I remove some lines? But better knowledge says it's not worth it. To remove a couple of lines of code, it's not worth it. But we'll remove the debug there because we don't need to record that we won. We know when we won. But this certainly could be made cleaner. So we've got 2 booleans, 3 booleans. Although 4 now is based on a counter, so that's a boolean based on when the counter depletes. So that's fine. So 4 now is fine. It's the win, yes, no, and the all hit. And that's mainly to stop it from triggering the event more than once. So if we won, so if all hit is effectively level complete, but win is only a one-time event at the point that this is true. So once the win event has happened, we only want it to happen once, which is why I have 2 booleans. That makes sense to me. Let's put a little line break in there because they're 2 separate things. So this is to make sure the win event only happens once while that is true. So where is the global all hit used otherwise? So all hit false. So that restarts the timer. That's fine. Reset all square. So that function there makes this false. Because by resetting all the squares, you reset the hit to 0. Because that 0 is no longer the same as count, that makes that false. So once full now happens, but because of that, we don't want to immediately restart the game because it's now reset. So I think the logic is okay. I don't need to change anything. There's not been much efficiency there. Don't need anything from TM Pro anymore because I'm not doing it I'm not writing directly to any UI elements now. I'm just running functions, which is where I want it to be. I didn't want to be writing to the UI. The UI should be handling itself. So I should be able to just remove the TM Pro reference now. But yeah, this could be a little cleaner, but I'll leave that for now. So we removed that. So there should be nothing that references score. The score holder doesn't reference score, so it's not really much of a score holder anymore. It's more of a end of game check. So I could rename that, but again, don't need to. I know what it means. That's got the castle inside it and the rubble spawner. Smoke is just smoke. Ground plate is just ground plate. Sound effects is just sound effects. BMG is just background music. I think I've made this pretty efficient now. N level's self-sufficient. That is just a menu. That's just buttons. Hit solder is just its own thing. Time hold is its own thing. Play UI doesn't that. So I can actually get rid of score. Delete that. It's bound to tell me something's wrong, but we'll find out now. No red text. Okay, maybe I was clean enough on the dissection. I'm quite happy with that. I've got no native Unity UI on the screen right now. Obviously the options menu still has a bit there. So I need to probably duplicate the design for this slider on the side here and then put it for the sound levels. No red text equals happy dev, yes. Really like not seeing the red text. The only thing is I'm using the menu titles, I'm using the same graphic, the button graphic for the menu title. I feel I need to change that to be more definitively a title and not go, is that a button? Can I click it? Whereas that back is a button. So there's things like that I do need to change because it was lazy. I just copied the options button and used it for a title. But yeah, I need to think of a better design to say, well, this is a title. This is not a button. Don't treat it as such. Maybe the fact it has a shadow kind of makes it look like a button. But yeah, need to make a graphic that says background make a graphic that says sound effects and have this little slidey thing going across. Projectiles, I need to probably just get the wooden sprite texture and make it look like it's a notice board, maybe, with these pinned to it as like a scrolls, maybe something that kind of fits in with like a medieval. So yeah, so just have like a basic sprite of a scroll with this kind of almost painted on it. I still need to get it so it hides on selection. It's more of a debug thing at the moment. I'm back. Welcome back. We've got the top left graphic fully working. So I need to do options. Oh, that's the other thing as well. Projectiles and options can overlap each other. So I need to make it so only one shows up. So maybe when you click options, if projectiles is open, close it. If you click projectile and options is open, close that. Turtle. But these are like the little tweaky bits now. But yeah, I need to make a nice turtle is high. Did consider actually making that turtle as a projectile. Go into Blender, making a 3D representation of the turtle. Smoking as well. Just yeet the turtle. But there's scope for so many extra projectiles I could do. I could have it so it scrolls. Grandmother on the Indonesian side had a turtle walking around the house, or was it tortoise? I think tortoise. Yeah, tortoise is what walks on land. Turtle is what can swim. It's what people get them mixed up all the time easily. But yeah, I think tortoise is the one that just kind of slowly walks around. But I think turtles have flippers. He was cool. Everyone who's had a tortoise has says how cool they are. I had a friend who had like a small one. He used to take on the cats. The cats would just be sitting there minding their own business. It just comes along and butts into them. Got to be 60 or 72. Wow, they live so long. They really do. Yeah, I need to do something in this menu. I'll make a nice graphic. Make a nice graphic. I like how, because they're buttons, they do flash when you click them. Yeah, because it's a button in that space. Don't actually click the image, but click around the image. Still activates it. But what I'll do, I'll take a screen snip of this. And I will take this into Photoshop and design a graphic around it. I can bring that in. So let's do a save on that. So save that screen capture to P menu SH. And options. So actually, if I make a background for all of this, then the options can just be text on the background as opposed to a floating thing. So let's grab a screen grab of that. Actually, let's move it over to something less this kind of if I'll save as what was the most difficult part to create in this game? Ooh, that's a good question. So if you ignore all the Blender stuff, because Blender in itself is its own kind of skill sets. As far as actually making in the game, I would say ooh, what have I found so most difficult? Probably calculating the how many tiles that need to be generated for the player to hit. And the thing with that is you don't get to see that. It's just a thing that happens in the background that allows you to play the game, and yet it was one of the most awkward things to try and work out. Now show basically what's going on with that. What's this? Options, menu, screenshot. Save that. There's two things I need to look at. So let's come out of the game here. So I go down, go all the way down here. Actually, I can probably. Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it. So what you can't see is in here. So the castle holder, castle. Yeah, this. I'm not sure if it's showing up on the stream, but you can just about see like a green line. So this is kind of revealing what's behind the curtain, so to speak. But these green lines here are an invisible box that the player can't see. It's only green because I've clicked it on the side here. And that is a square that kind of covers the front of the building. And you can see it comes down here. And I click on the other one and there's a rectangle that covers the front of this part of the building. And you can't see those, they're invisible. But they're there, and this is actually what considers that this is the game, I suppose in some ways. These two squares are the main function of the game. But this building here is just what makes it look nice. But it's these two green squares which are the functional part of the game. And I can just draw that. I can just draw this square. So this building could be any shape or size. Doesn't matter. It's just there to look pretty. But I can then draw this square to any size to fit whatever building I put there. And the code attached to that invisible square generates a series of invisible tiles based on the size of the square. So if I make this square bigger, it makes more tiles. As it is, between this square and this rectangle, it makes 120 tiles. If I make it bigger, it'll make more tiles. You back? Welcome back, Lisa. And each of these tiles randomly selects a graphic to show whenever the player hits them with a rock. So you hit it with a rock, it goes, here's my selected crack. So I've selected one of the many crack sprites, and it decides that when it makes them. So the game starts up, it goes, how many tiles do I need? Makes the tiles. When the tiles are made, each tile selects its own graphic, and then when the player hits it, the tile reveals the graphic. So the building does nothing, it's literally just there. It's this invisible green square and the rectangle down here, which actually is part of the game. So I could delete this building and the game will still play. And that's the way I wanted to make it, so I could put anything there and the core mechanic of the game still works. And it doesn't even need to be a rock, it just needs to be something that's called rock. As long as it's got the name of rock and it hits something on the green square, you're playing the game at that point. The rest of it is just to make it look nice. Although the trees do wobble. There's a little bit of complication with the tree. So the trees wobble when they're hit. There's a little bit of code attached to them that does that. Whatever it is. Yeah, tree script. But yeah, I'd say these grids that generate the invisible tiles that the player hits was the most complicated thing. Because I wanted it to make sure that this entire square was filled. But I wanted to also make sure that each tile was exactly the same size, no matter how big the square was. So it is 1 meter by 1 meter in the game. And the good thing is Unity does have meter squares. Hey dealer, how's it going? Ah, I saw the notification, forgot. That's okay. I would forget myself if I wasn't sat here. That's perfectly fine. Glad to see you though, dealer. Yeah, that hopefully answered the question. That these invisible green squares that the player will never see. It was the most complicated thing. Just these two things here. The rest of it is for show. Obviously there's complications with animating this, but that's because I didn't know. But that's a standard thing. Animating an object in Unity is animating an object in Unity. In 3D anyway. When it comes to 2D, as we found out, a bit easier. But still didn't know how to do it. The mighty green square bearing the weight of the world. It is. It really is. As I say, you could delete pretty much most of what you're seeing here. And as long as those two green squares are there, the game will function. Like the coconut JPEG holding Team Fortress 2 together. Yeah, at some point somewhere, supposedly there's code referencing that. Apparently the devs can't find it. The thing is, it's so much of a legend, they don't know even if the legend is true or not. But I can fully believe it. It is something that a dev could end up doing. Because if it works, and it's not harming anything to have it in the game, you just leave it. You can play Team Fortress 2 completely without texture. They were still complaining about that. Yeah, I'm guessing it's more of legend, but it's believable enough that it could be true. We're looking at time. Oh, 6 minutes past 10. We will stream a little bit later tonight. But I'm happy with that. This level is literally only that. I want to make a level 2. But only after I'm happy with absolutely everything else going on here. There's no point making a level 2 until I'm happy that this is solidly what it needs to be. The catfish episode I watch now has 2 people who already know each other catfishing each other and didn't know they were catfishing each other. Oh, the catfish has become catfished. Right, so I think majority of what I need to do is UI based. Here's the UI. So I need to have something that says level complete or level completed. I can probably do it from here. Next game I make, I'm going to add a PNG of the St. Peter's Cross that the game refuses to run without. It will never be in the gameplay, it's just there as a massive red herring for the terrorists. That's really kind of upset people if you make an LGBT flag that the game requires. And try and delete it, the game crashes. Do you have any LPs not made from vinyl? Don't think so, no. I've got everything I own is pretty modern. Metal wax? No, I would love to. I just wondered, yeah, that's a good question. Like, yeah, I'd love to have like a wax original or something. Carve my own vinyl. Yeah, just with a needle like sort of making little waves in it. Well, not vinyl, yeah. Now, have you seen that the really close up microscope look at vinyl grooves? It is quite literally just the sound waves just cut in, and when the needle vibrates, it's vibrating on the sound wave, and signal goes up, and you quite literally just got music cut into a solid object. It's crazy. I always kind of say that's the purest kind of form of music. If you record a high quality recording onto vinyl, then you're hearing it without any compression at that point. Make an LP out of brass and use it as a hi-hat. That'll make for a pretty cool looking hi-hat. They used to deliver codes and computer programs with vinyl. I can believe that in the 80s, yeah. It would make sense. We use this asset. Oh, if it's on the screen. You have to record it then on a cassette, then that will put in the PC that how cassettes. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. I know. I never owned one, but the old games consoles, you had the games on an audio cassette, and you could actually read the data as sound that way as well. So it makes sense that you could have it on vinyl and record it as sound, and then transfer that to a cassette, which then was read as tape into a machine. Because the old data kind of stores were just big reels of tape. I was like, that's crazy. And you think now you can get tiny micro SD cards with terabytes on them. Listen to the game for optimal lore experience. Yeah. I'm back. Well, still can't talk. Welcome back, Cubes. Hope you had a great bit of food. We're still going. Normally I would finish by now, but I'm wanting to actually get a few things done tonight. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, I want to do a bit more. Finish off the graphics because I'm happy with everything else. So I just need a graphic that says level completed, and maybe space for that. So I could use this as it is, I suppose. Just have level completed here, leave a space, and then have the completed time sit on top of it. And that would be, I can make these two things one object then. Right, at least a parent object. Oh, I don't actually need that either, time complete, because that was the old UI one, so I can actually delete that now. Play again is the button that pops up, so that needs to be there. Okay, so yeah, so level completed. Let's duplicate that and go level completed. Save and hide that. Change that to level complete. You have to change the font size. It's a little bit too big. So it needs to be a bit smaller. Could probably do it being a little bit bigger there. Ooh, that's probably about the right size there. Let's go. Let's save that Photoshop project. Export this. Rather than Tofflet stats. Level completed. Let's bring that into here. Clear that log. UI sprites. Bring that into Unity. Level complete. Mark as a sprite. We can close that. So level complete. So what we want to do, because that's an image. So we want to make a new image in here. UI image. Let's abbreviate it. So level LC, level complete. Let's bring this up. Save on Unity assets by spending 8 hours photoshopping up every sprite and texture in one massive JPEG. Yeah. It works. I know you can get it quite efficient if you have one single sprite map. These two catfishes date each other for 5-10 years before this moment, so they should know each other. But I suppose if they're good at catfishing, then they wouldn't pick up on that. I suppose they'd be completely different people. 640 by 271. 640 by 271. I know that's a very weird dimension, but that's what I ended up with. Scale it down a bit. Yeah, probably about there. Probably move the time holder up a little bit. And level complete can disappear. And I'll drag that in instead. Let's play that. And this is why I love catfish. It's all drama, isn't it? Gotta love a bit of drama. So if that's to re-evaluate itself. Oh, weird messages. Personally, I like trout, but each their own. Yeah, I'm not a fan of many fish. No, I tend to go for a plain. If I'm eating a fish, there's got to be a plain colour of white fish. I don't have fish very often. Certainly have not had catfish. Be more likely to keep a catfish as a pet than I would to eat it. Very happy with this so far. Considering I started this as a silly little game, and I've kept my stream title as this every time I've streamed this game dev. It's become a bit more than a silly little game. I'm quite proud of that. But that's mainly down to you guys going, you know what, this looks fun, let's add things to it. Now, when we talked earlier about the green boxes, you can just about see where the green boxes overlap here. And you can actually see the squares now. If I zoom in, you can actually see the tiles. So these tiles with the cracking graphics on are auto generated based on the width of the parent object. I don't know why it leaves like these lines between them. There's no textures that would give them lines. Doesn't bother me too much. If it really bothers me, eventually I can probably look into it. But you can actually see where the two green boxes overlap slightly here. Because the tiles are a set size, and you can't guarantee the green boxes are a a nice clean multiple of the tiles, it will spawn a tile, enough tiles to cover the green box, even if that means overlapping off the edge of the green box, to guarantee each tile remains the same size. But because of that, there's a very slight overlap here, because this box isn't quite a whole tile at the end. It's just under a whole tile, which means it does overlap, but it's okay. I spent 3 days trying to make a whole 6 lines of code actually work, and they still do not. Ooh. What's the code doing, if you don't mind me asking? 6 lines of code. I'm guessing, does it call libraries, like external libraries? Or is it sort of native functions? Got it down to from 40 lines that also did not work. There's progress. There's progress. Sometimes you need to add more lines to understand why less lines don't work. Breaking out into separate functions, even if it seems silly to have a function that only does this thing, it turns it into plain English. Like, if you have a single line of code which has a lot of things going on in that single line, you could make a function with the name of what that does and then run that as a function and go, well, as you're reading your code, it says, well, adds elephant to the room. The next one function is turn it pink. Basically just clone an object into the player character and set its position to the character's right. So the character's holding an object. Doesn't give me any errors. Oh, that's the worst. Like, if you have no feedback as to what's going wrong, you just have to go, well, it's not broken, it's just not doing what it should be. You know, I tend to find, like, printing to the console sort of my kind of saviour. Like, timer starter, I can get rid of that now because I know the timer starts when it's supposed to start. But at one point go, well, I don't know when the timer's starting, so I'm printing to console. Added print to make sure code runs, and it does print, but it doesn't do what it's supposed to. So I'm guessing the object doesn't appear on. Does it appear at all? Is it appearing in the wrong place? If it's not appearing, I'm guessing obviously it's running it, but at some point it's not actually functioning. But then if it's appearing somewhere, you go, well, it's doing the sort of the generation of the object, but I'm not getting it to attach in the right place. But if it's not showing at all, then you go, well, at what point does it fail? But I suppose you could do, well, you break it down. Okay, what at each stage is it doing? Is it doing what I assume at this stage? You go, after one line of code, check the variables, check the XY, check the name of the object. Does it know, has it actually got the object I think it's got? It doesn't appear at all, but it doesn't error out of some reason. In that situation, I would probably think, well, if it's a sword, for instance, you go, well, when you go to clone the object, check the name of the cloned object. So you go, well, clone sword. And it goes, okay, what is the name of the object I've just cloned? It goes, sword. Excellent. The cloning part has worked. And you go, okay, attached to player. What is the name of player? Player is called player. Excellent. I have the player. I have the sword. I'm feeling about doing pineapple pens, but no. You go, okay, the next stage is to attach the right arm. So I need to know where the right arm is. If the right arm is a separate sub object, grab the object of the right arm. What do I have? What is the name? Right arm. Excellent, I got the right arm. Then if it's the XY positioning of the arm, I go, okay. Grab the XY positioning. Is it what I think it should be? Yes, that X is right, that Y is right. And then apply that to the object. Check. Where is that object now? Is that object at X and Y the same X and Y as this? Yes, brilliant. I know the object is there. And it's just doing little tiny steps. Am I seeing what I assume is correct at each stage? This is where having a few more lines of code can probably help out. The funny thing is the syntax of the programming language will break everything if an object it expects doesn't exist. Okay, so you know it must be grabbing whatever you're referring to. But I would print absolutely everything. Probably not at the same time, but at each stage. Oh, excuse me. At each stage, tell it to print what you think is already correct. So you go, well, I know it's doing that, but do you? Get it to tell you. Does it definitely have the right object? It might have the object, but when you go to do something else with it, has it forgotten the object? Has it picked something else up? I'm going to rewrite it, and if it still doesn't work, I'm remaking it entirely in block coding. Yeah. So all you can do. But yeah, I fully break down absolutely everything. And I've gone to the stage now where I will write a function that literally does one little thing. That's all it does. And I can go, well, is that the one little thing doing what I think it should be doing? Go, well, yes. Excellent. I don't need to worry about that thing anymore. Cool, that works. A little bit tweaking the UI. Maybe some shadowing on that. Might make it look a bit better. But yeah, that's what I've done with all these. The good thing with Unity is that you can just have a single tiny little script that handles just that object. Like the trees, for instance, the tree has its own bit of script and it only handles the tree. And that's it. The tree has no idea what else is going on in the rest of the game. The tree is just a tree. And the tree will react if something interacts with the tree. Other than that, the tree is just doing its thing. And I don't have to worry. This is how the tree functions by itself. I can copy paste it and the tree will always do what the tree does. I don't have to worry about the two things interacting. Like same with the sword. Like if the sword hits a player or an enemy, if the sword hits an enemy, the sword has a stat. The stat is only on the sword. The player does not need to know what the stat is. You just go, okay, what have I hit? You have hit enemy, grab the stat from the sword, apply to enemy, take off health. But then the actual player object does not need to know what the stat of the sword is. And that's what I've tried to do here. It's like, well, if anything really does not need to know that information, and try and like hierarchy it out so only communicates between its parent and the child and doesn't go across where possible. The only thing that goes sideways, so to speak, is the game values. So this scriptable object holds values and is referenced by many things. But this is kind of like the universal go-between. This is holding the information that each of these objects will make decisions on. And that makes it easier because these aren't talking to each other anymore. All they're doing is reacting to these numbers. So I could write a number in there and they will react. Oops. I don't need to none of these things need to know the rest of it exists. So I'm quite happy that I've got it to that stage now. The score holder still, I'm still not sold on not doing what it needs to do. But we'll get there. So we're looking 10:30 now, 10:30. So I've got a bit more UI to make. I'm probably going to put an outline around these two, like a little dark line, just to make them stand out. Probably could do with drop that into there. Yeah, that makes sense. Drop it into there. So that means I can now just move that down with it all attached. Quite happy with that. That looks nice. So it is the options menu that I need to. Where's the options button? Where's the options menu? Why is there options menu? Yeah, so I could do with having a big graphic that encompasses all of this, and then these sliders are just UI that sits on it, rather than having a piece of text that says background and a slider next to it. Because that's all this is. This is like labels, sliders. So I need to go away and make that. And the same projectiles. I can make that looking nice as well. And I do need to go back to the main menu. Scenes. Save it. Could do with changing this AI generated background into a bit more personalized work. And then sort of refine this menu, sort of set up a little bit better. Let's play it with the main menu and then we'll wrap the stream up, I think. Yeah, because this options menu here, we'll use the same graphic as the in-game one. But I suppose if I make it a prefab object, I can just make it once and then drag it in. Because at the moment I've just copy pasted it. I could do with making it look nice and then make a prefab and then just drag it onto the other side as well. So especially if the sliders do, don't they? Yeah, the sliders do interact with sound volume, so that's good. Yeah, I can do that off stream and drag that in on Friday. I'm quite happy with that. There's a couple of UI things, and then if I do the graphics off stream and then drag them in on Friday, I can actually start making level 2, and hopefully I can make a level in no more than 20 minutes. Because I've done so much work on the rest of it, then it's just drag and drop. That's the whole thing I've been trying to get to, is that the effort in making levels becomes so minimal that I can just keep adding levels. But to keep the levels interesting, I'm going to have to add more mechanics, which I will have to build. So that's when it's become more complicated. But I can work out mechanics later on. Oh, I got so many spam requests in my Discord. Well, I'm getting tired. So let's switch over to the main camera. Awesome. I'm slightly off center there. I'm leaning to the side. But yeah, I'll do those graphics off stream. Let's close these things. But I'm happy with that. I'm quite proud of what I've made there, and I'm wanting to get this right. So I'm not going into my bigger project still working things out. The idea is that this is my playground to test and perfect my game dev kind of knowledge. Obviously I'm going to continue to learn, but I want to be able to work out the solid method of making the game and understanding the process before I go ahead and make an actual game, not just a silly one. Thank you for the stream, epic as always. Thank you Jeffrey, thank you Lisa. Fun stream, well, thank you Cubes, thank you for that raid earlier as well. Turtle, missed him. Thank you for the stream, good night, thank you dear. It's awesome having you all here. I do appreciate it all. It's good chatting to you, because as I say, otherwise I'll be sat here making a game by myself. And that's okay, but I prefer to have cool people like you to chat to. No worries. Thank you, Cubes. I hope you have a good week. So I'll be back on Friday. So if you're around, I might see you then. If not, next week is going to be quite busy. I'm going to a couple of gigs. Next week. So Monday and Friday streams next week I'm not going to be able to do. So unfortunately no Stardew Valley, I'm afraid, Jeffrey and Lisa, next week, because I'm going to a gig for that. And then Friday going to another gig. So busy. Nothing worse than becoming a Dostoevsky character live. I have no idea what that means. Cool. Yeah, I just remember that. Yeah, gigs coming up. So yeah, so it's very limited streams next week, but Friday and then Wednesday next week I should be able to do a stream. But yeah, hope you have a good night, enjoy the rest of your week, and I shall see you all on Friday. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a good night. Bye.